Hello everyone, Mr. Schultz here for Integrated Math 2 4.7, specifically the law of sines. Don't forget to put your first and last name at the top right hand side of your page, as well as your period number. Once again, we are dealing with the law of sines. If we were given an angle, we're able to use the sine, cosine, and tangent to determine the sides of a right triangle. We were discussing this with SOHCAHTOA. Sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse, cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. Well, that was for right triangles, but not every triangle is a right triangle. Some are a little wrong. Well, no, they're going to be acute or obtuse, but So let's learn our next group of trigonometric formulas that will help us to determine angles or sides of other triangles. So here's the formula. It's called the law of sines. So if we have the sine of an angle, and then underneath that we have the side, that will equal the sine of a different angle over across the street, the side, which is equal to the third angle, the sine of that, over its side, the corresponding side. Well, what does this look like? Well, that looks like this right here. Go ahead and draw it in. If this is A, well, let's write this in. So this is A right here. Well, then this will be little a. If this is angle B right here, then here's B. And then if this is C right here, then there's little c. Basically, we're going to have to use a calculator to use the sines and divide it by the sides. Let's go on. So that's the formula. So there are three different expressions here. We have the sine of A divided by A, the side A. We have the sine of B over B, and we have the sine of C, angle C over side C. Well, and we might look at this and be like, what? There's something different about this. And what's different is that there's two equal signs. How can we have that? Well, basically we get to pick and choose which two sides we want to use. Do we want to deal with A's and C's? Cool. Take out this middle sine B over B, and that's fine. Maybe we want to deal with only sine A over A is equal to sine B over B. That's okay. Just whatever fits the situation, we'll use that. It's pretty open to help us out to figure this out. Let's go on. So for now, let's just pick angle A with side A, angle B with side B, and let's discuss. So this thing. Now, of course, we understand, or we should, that, look, this is going to equal, let's do it in red, this is still equal to the sine of angle C over the side of C. Yeah, it is, but we don't need to use it right now. We're just going to deal with A's and B's right here. No C, just A, B. So in this equation, so cross this out, don't need it. In this equation, how many unknowns do we have? All right, well, think about it this way. Yo, what's the sign of A? You, in the back of the class, what's the sign of A? We don't know. It's an unknown. All right, well, how about you in the back over there? What is the length of A? We don't know. This is just representations of a hypothetical triangle. But this leads into the idea of there are 4 unknowns. So let's write that in. There are 4 unknowns in this equation. And to be able to solve any equation, we need to know how many out of 4. Well, basically we need to know all but 1. There's some trick to this sometimes where we can find out 2 because these 2 are related and they say, hey, this is twice the other one. But for the most part, we need to figure out 3 out of the 4 unknowns before we can actually figure it out. Now in this situation, what if we didn't know anything about the sine C over C? Well, we don't need to use them. We just need to use angle A, angle B, side A, and side B. If we know 3 out of those 4, we're good. If we don't know any of them, then we're out of luck. And that's where we come into the idea of maybe we should have looked at side C and angle C. Let's go on. So let's go over some examples of this. It's like, hey, find the value of x to the nearest tenth. Well, looking at this, we're like, all right, this is across from A. So I know that I'm going to use the sine of 15 degrees, that's A right here, divided by x is equal to, well, is this B right here? I don't know it. Well, don't use it then. But I do know side B and angle C. So I'm going to do the sine of 72 degrees divided by 375. So in this scenario, we're doing the sine of A over A is equal to the sine of C over C. We don't know anything about B, so don't use it. However, we could figure out B because 72 plus 15, the rest of it has to add up to 180. But, I mean, we have an equation with 3 knowns out of 4, so we don't have to figure out what angle B is equal to. All right, well, now there is a little trick to this. I could either multiply by x on both sides and solve this, or I can flip it. Now, do this little mental math with me. You know, what's 1 divided by 2? What's 2 divided by 4? Do you agree this is true? Give me a thumbs up in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, let's call it like 50%. 50% is equal to 50%. Well, what I want you to do is I want you to take those fractions and flip them. And so now we get 2 divided by 1 is equal to 4 divided by 2. Well, 2 divided by 1 is, everybody? And then 4 divided by 2 is, now for both of those, you should have gotten 2. So this is still a true statement. If we flip them, the fractions over, it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it because I don't like the x on the bottom. So I'm now going to get x divided by sine of 15 degrees is equal to 375 divided by the sine of 72 degrees. And now I can't do anything else without using my handy dandy calculator. So I'm going to have to turn this on. I'm going to have to figure out my information. First, I have to make sure that I am in degrees. So I change it to degrees, and then I just pick the sine of 15. I get 0.25, and let's say 9. So right here, I'm going to make this sine of 15 0.259. 0.259. Now I'm going to do the sine of 72. All right, well, the sine of 72 is equal to 0.951. Okay. 0.951. Now all we need to do now is just use the calculator and figure it out. 375 divided by 0.951. Okay. So 375 divided by 0.95105656163. I kind of like going past it. It's one of those things. It's like, do you need to do it? No, but I like to do it. So I get, if I round up, I should get 394.3 because that 29 rounded up would become 0.3. So 394.3 is equal to x divided by 0.259. Well, now, what's the opposite of divide by 0.259? I'm going to times 0.259 on both sides. And when I do that, I get 0.259. I get 102.12. Well, it says nearest tenth, so 102.1. There we go. 102.1 is equal to x. So that's it. What you have to do is you have to simply get 3 unknowns out of 4 and then slowly solve for the last unknown. You can do this via using your calculator to actually do 370. I would actually, find what the sine of 15 and change it out at the very beginning and then start multiplying, but that's just me. So in class, I'm going to do a couple more, but I'm going to have you guys pick some. So go ahead and ask away and I will help you out. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in class and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.